A couple of years ago, Laura and I decided to tackle one of the biggest challenges of our lives. We wanted to do 365 activities all around New Zealand in only 365 days, and this is day 82. We are doing mountain biking for the first time during New Zealand's biggest gap year, and we are going to tackle the Link Pathway track. It's near Picton and it has fantastic views. Join me at the end of this video where I'm going to go over some of the questions we received the first time we published it. See you then. This morning we are leaving the Tombstone Hostel really early to make our way to the office of Wilderness Guides, which are going to be giving us a bike to go on the Link Pathway track. The first thing that we get to do is to try on the bikes. They are the latest kind of super tech bike that we can get. They are hydraulic suspensions and they're really fun to play with. Laura and I are both very comfortable on them, so we make our way toward the track.
After a short climb at the beginning of the Link Pathway, we get into it and start mountain biking this relatively new track in the Marlborough region. It's really awesome to start with. The track is super well maintained. It's impossible to get lost. This morning it's super foggy, there's low cloud and it adds a really mystical feel to the forest. We can see dew on the cobwebs, there's lots of drops hanging from the ferns.
The great thing about this new track is that the gradient is super easy for beginners. There are some really short and mellow uphill sections followed by some really fun downhills. It looks like the track has been carved right onto the mountain to just make it like a fun roller coasters for beginners. As we are making our way through the forest and alongside the mountain ridges, the fog is slowly lifting up. It's a very long and steady process, but we start seeing the views through the trees. It's going to take a few more minutes until we can actually embrace the stunning views of the Marlborough Sounds surrounding us.
As soon as the clouds clear, we get an awesome view of the mountains of the Marlborough Sounds, which we have to take some photos of. It looks super atmospheric. These views are amazing.
Now that we've got our pictures, it's time for the next section of the track, which is definitely much more fun. It gets a little bit faster, the track is getting a little bit wider, giving us a little bit more confidence, and the gradients are getting a little bit higher as well, making it a little bit more of a challenge. It is definitely a lot of fun and the views are getting even more beautiful as the clouds are revealing the mountains more and more by the minute.
The great thing about the Link Pathway is that it is an awesome alternative to the Queen Charlotte track and a much cheaper alternative because you can actually bike to this track from Picton town itself and you still get awesome views of the Queen Charlotte Sound while having an awesome mountain biking experience.
We are stoked about our bikes. Laura and I never really used bikes which are that sophisticated, to say the least. So seeing how those bikes handle the track is an absolute pleasure. We are amazed by it.
And along the track we find a hammock right in the middle, so it's nature's way of telling us to rest.
One of the things that surprises me the most with this track is the color of the ground on which we are biking. It's kind of a golden or tussle kind of shade, and I'd never really seen that before. I learned later that it's actually a clay mountain and all of this ground that we're biking on is actually clay, making it less likely to mud in case of a heavy rain, which is a pretty cool feature for a mountain biking track right on the edge of a cliff.
We finally reach our halfway point and our lunch stop, which is this awesome lookout.
So this is our view where we decided to have lunch today. We're not complaining. Also, can you believe that this is literally the middle of the winter here?
This is by far the best view we've had so far, and it's the perfect place for lunch. The view is so stunning, in fact, that this gets too much for Robin to handle, and he decides to either pass out or take a nap. Meanwhile, I am enjoying the views, sunbathing in paradise and watching the awesome Marlborough Sounds.
Now that we are well fed and well rested, or at least I am, we are making our way back toward Picton. Now we've decided to make this link pathway track a one-way track by stopping at a halfway point and making our way back the same way we came in. This will allow us to make our way back toward Picton much faster, as we only have half a day to do it instead of a full day required to do the whole track.
However, the way back is a little bit steeper, so there are some uphill struggles. But we have lots of opportunity, or at least excuses, to stop along the way. For example, we stop at this pure creek with fresh water to fill up our water bottles.
That's one of the awesome things in New Zealand. In many places you can just stop by the waterfall, fill up your water bottle and just get some of the freshest water you can ever drink. The rest of the way is exactly the same that we took on the way in, except that this time we can actually enjoy the views that were hidden by the fog on the way in this morning. Then it's all a short way downhill on the asphalt all the way back to Picton for the next adventure tomorrow.
Tomorrow we are leaving Picton for more Marlborough adventures. We are going to the Pelorus River, which is a Hobbiton filming location.
Alright guys, so I hope that you did enjoy this video. We surely did enjoy filming it. I cannot tell you how much we loved doing mountain biking in Picton. That was kind of a long overdue. Like, New Zealand is really a really big mountain biking country, and the fact that we went 82 days without doing any mountain biking is quite amazing. I don't know how we skip that, but don't worry, during New Zealand's biggest gap year there is much more mountain biking coming up, that's for sure. And there is, you know, like, yeah, since we already shot it, I know it, but you know, it's something that most people that will travel around New Zealand will be doing during their activities. Like, every single time we are talking with you guys and planning an itineraries together, you know, for one of you that come up to us and say, hey, I'm coming to New Zealand for 2 weeks and I'd like to do an itinerary, almost every time there is some areas to do mountain biking. Speaking of that, we actually do that with you guys sitting on that couch over there behind me, where Kiwi is just being really nice and quiet. So that happens on Sundays at 8 AM New Zealand time every single week. We sit down with you guys for about an hour and we answer all your questions about traveling in New Zealand. And very often we even take a map out and we write on it and we say, oh, you should go here, you should do that. It's kind of a lot of fun to hang out together. If you want to know more and find out what time this live session is in your side of the world, you can check the link in the description below. There is a link and you click on there and it says, hey, if you're in Brazil, this is the time, or if you're in Washington DC, tell you the time, or if you're in Paris, France, you know, it tells you the time. Just all that. It's quite cool. Alright, so let's go over the questions that you guys had the first time we published this video. So we had the unofficial bucket list family that said that was a nice video and that they needed to mountain biking more in New Zealand, and they asked us for recommendation of places. Well, honestly, I think Picton is a really good place to do some mountain biking, especially since, you know, you guys are traveling with a family. That'd be quite cool. We also have you know, some videos about the Opotiki area and the Motu trails over there. They are really good for beginners and everything, so I think they are really cool areas to mountain bike as well. But don't worry, we'll showcase even more of those, so that's going to be quite awesome. Yeah, so another thing for you, the unofficial bucket list family, is nzpocketguide.com. So it's our website, Laura and I. It's the largest travel guide to New Zealand, and there is so many mountain biking guides. Even like on the homepage, you can check on browse activities. You scroll down a little bit, you go browse activities, and then there is literally a big link that says mountain biking, and there you have a ton of mountain biking activities and ton of guides and all that. So that's pretty awesome, because New Zealand is really gearing itself like even more more into like mountain biking. Hell, you know, you probably have heard of the great walks of New Zealand, but now there is the great rides of New Zealand, which are amazing mountain biking rides, which are even multiple days. So that's to tell you the commitment of New Zealand to mountain biking. So definitely something to keep in mind when planning your trip to New Zealand, because that's an activity that I can guarantee you are not going to want to miss when traveling around New Zealand, because mountain biking is absolutely awesome here. And also the good thing is that it allows you to get to cover more ground amongst the amazing sceneries rather than just hiking. You know, when you hike, you get to enjoy the view even more and everything, so it has some really good advantages. But when you actually mountain bike, you get to cover more ground, so you get to actually go to places which are even more remote, even within one day if you decide to only do mountain biking for one day. So that's pretty awesome. Anyhow, that's it for me today. We do have obviously plenty of more videos coming up on this channel, and that's why YouTube tells me to tell you to subscribe, because it says that I don't have enough subscribers. So go ahead, hit the subscribe button if you want to, but better, I personally prefer when you hit the like button, because that just tells me that the video we just done is useful, and it's a free way for you to say thank you for all the hard work. In the meantime, keep traveling awesome. Bye bye.